Hi, welcome back to my story time with Nana. We're getting ready to go on another adventure with the Halloway family. I'm so excited. I can't wait. Let's get started. Let's begin. Here we go. Chapter 2. The Halloways began packing up. They had had a wonderful time at Lake Moomaw. The children had played with Caius almost every day, swimming, hiking, tubing. They had been very, very busy. Here we go! Here we go! Time to move! Time to shake! Their father called out. Let's go out and investigate! The children watched as Daddy hooked up the RV to their truck. It was so nice meeting you, Caius, James said. You'll have to come visit when we finally move into our real home. Oh, I will, Caius told him. Our parents just exchanged addresses. I have something for you, but you can't open it until you move into your new house. What is it? Asked Elizabeth. Oh, it's for all of you, but you can't see it until you move into your house, Caius told them. Promise me you'll wait. They all swore to keep their promise to Caius. The family said goodbye with hugs and kisses, and Daddy honked the horn as they pulled out of the park. Where to now, Mommy asked Kathleen. Oh, you'll see when we get there, she answered. They headed west and drove for several hours before Daddy started singing out. Here we go! Here we go! He turned onto a dirt road that wound and wound till it ended at a very large farmhouse. There was a trailer parked around the corner from the house, and Daddy pulled up alongside that trailer and cut the engine. Well, here we are, he said. Farm River. Daddy, there's no such thing as a farm of rivers, James answered. Oh, James, it's not a farm of rivers. It's called River Farm, Mommy said. You can be so silly. Hello, said a man walking towards the truck. Welcome to River Farm. Hello, Daddy said, getting out of the truck. I'm Roger Halloway, and this is my wife Joan and our children, Kathleen, James, and Elizabeth. Pleased to meet you, he said, shaking hands with the man. My name is Bill Schneider. Here comes my wife Mary, he said, pointing towards the farmhouse. And those are my daughters, Teagan, Riley, and Joey. He pointed toward the stables. By the time Mommy and the children got out of the truck, the Schneider family was there to say hello. Welcome to River Farm, said Mrs. Schneider. We are a horse farm. Have you ever ridden a horse before? No, said Kathleen. You really have horses here? Oh, yes, Teagan told her. They're in the stables. Can we see them? Asked James. Sure, Riley said. Is it okay if we take James, Elizabeth, and Kathleen to the stables? I don't mind, if it's okay with their parents, their father said. Can we, Mommy? Asked Elizabeth. Can we? Sure, that's why we're here, she answered. Daddy and I will set up the RV while you explore the stables. Don't go anywhere else, though. Yay! They cried out. Come on, I'll show you my favorite horse, yelled out Joey, running towards the stables. The Halloway children followed Joey, giggling. They were going to see real horses and up close. Now, when we go inside, we have to be quiet at first, Riley told them. We don't want to startle the horses. How many horses do you have? Asked Elizabeth. We have 10 horses, Teagan said. Each one is unique. Each one is wonderful. They're not really working horses. We use them for trail riding, especially when we have visitors. Yeah, but we do have our favorites, said Joey. You will too. Riley opened the door slowly, and the children filed in one at a time so as not to scare the horses. The stable seemed so much bigger on the inside. The children saw bales of hay lined along one wall with saddles hung up on huge pegs. Each saddle had a name stitched on the side. "Come meet Coco. You'll love her," said Riley. She walked toward the second stall, and James, Kathleen, and Elizabeth followed. Inside the stall was a beautiful light brown horse with a dark brown mane and tail. "I bet I know why you call her Coco," said James. "Why?" asked Riley. "Because she looks like chocolate," he answered. "Milk and dark chocolate." "That's exactly what I thought the first time I saw her," Riley told him. James petted Coco's face. She was so soft and had the most beautiful brown eyes with long lashes. He had never been this close to a horse and was amazed at her size. Come meet my favorite horse," Teagan said. She walked 2 stalls down, and there was the blackest horse ever. "Meet Shadow. Shadow, say hello to my friends." Shadow raised his head and whinnied. "Oh my, he is beautiful," Kathleen said. "Can I pet him?" "Oh yes, he loves being petted," Teagan told her. Kathleen began petting Shadow, and he lowered his head to her. He had the blackest eyes, and she could see her own reflection in his eyes. He was so shiny. He was so beautiful. "Come see my favorite," said Joey, grabbing Elizabeth's hand. They walked to the end of the stalls, and just as they got close to Joey's horse, popped her head out. She wasn't as big as Coco or Shadow, but she was just as amazing. She was solid white, and she seemed so happy to see Joey. "Hello, Snowflake," Joey said, petting her horse. "Go ahead, pet her, Elizabeth." Elizabeth put her hand out tentatively and gently stroked the side of Snowflake's face. "She is so beautiful," Elizabeth said. "You're so lucky to have a horse of your very own." "Oh, we share the horses," she told her. "We just have our favorites, like this one over here." She pointed to the stall next to Snowflake's. "That's Missy. She's Mommy's favorite. She's a painted horse." "You'll all have your favorite horse before you leave," said Teagan. "Tomorrow, after chores, we all go riding." "Oh, I love them all," said Elizabeth. "Me too," chimed in James and Kathleen. "Let's head back to the house," Riley said. "It's almost time for dinner. We always have our new guests over for dinner on their first night here." "Mommy, Daddy," called out James, "you should see the horses." "Yeah, and we get to ride them tomorrow," Kathleen told them. "I can't wait," said Elizabeth. That night, the family ate dinner with the Schneider family and got to know them. They talked about the farm and how they had chickens too. "Tomorrow, you can collect eggs and we can have breakfast together," Mrs. Schneider told them. "And after breakfast, we do our chores and then we take the horses out on a trail," Joey told them. "We can't wait," said James. The Halloways helped clean up from dinner and then headed back to their RV. "I think this is going to be my favorite place we visit," said Kathleen on the walk back. "Me too," said Elizabeth. Sleep came quickly for everyone. They were all excited about tomorrow. "Cock-a-doodle-doo! Cock-a-doodle-doo!" A rooster crowed. "What is that?" asked James. "It's a rooster, silly," Kathleen answered. "It means it's time to get up." They jumped from their bunk beds and dressed. They met the Schneider children outside and then walked over to the chicken coop. "Here's a basket," Teagan said, handing the baskets to each child. Now, once inside, I'll show you how to collect the eggs. This was the first time that Kathleen, James, and Elizabeth had ever collected eggs. They were nervous, but they were so excited. Teagan showed them how to check for eggs so the chickens wouldn't get all riled up. And by the time they finished, they had collected 13 eggs. A baker's dozen, Riley told them. What does that mean? Asked Elizabeth. I'm not really sure, Riley answered. I think it has something to do about people buying 12 of something and the baker giving them one more, so the buyer felt like they were getting a deal or something like that. Well, let's get these home so we can eat, Joey said. The sooner we do, the sooner we'll be riding. The children ran to the farmhouse with their baskets. Mommy and Daddy were already there helping with breakfast. Everyone enjoyed their breakfast of scrambled eggs, pancakes, and bacon. There's nothing like fresh eggs. The Schneider family showed the Halloway family how to take the horses out of the pasture so they could graze while the families cleaned out the stalls in the stables. It was hard work, but nobody complained because riding the horses was going to be worth it. On the way over to the pasture, Riley asked James, "Would you like to ride Coco?" "Would I ever?" he answered. So James rode Coco, and Kathleen rode Shadow, and Elizabeth rode Snowflake. Riley, Teagan, and Joey insisted that they ride their favorite horses on their first ride. Mr. Schneider showed everyone how to get a saddle on a horse, and he made sure each was tied securely. He helped them onto their horses and walked the horse around the pasture so the Halloway children could get used to riding on a horse. "I feel like I'm a giant," called out Kathleen. "I'm so high up in the air." "I feel like I'm flying," James exclaimed. "Me too," yelled out Elizabeth. "Giddy up," called out Mr. Schneider. "Just remember, a light tug on the rein to let the horse know which way to go. But they know this trail so well, you should be able to just sit back and relax and enjoy the ride." The Halloway family did enjoy the ride. They went through the woods, and there was a small creek that they followed to an open meadow. They stopped and had a snack and even fed the horses some carrots and apples. And on the way back, James made it clear that he would like a horse for Christmas. "Well, I'm not so sure we can have horses where we're going to be moving, but we will see about riding lessons," Mommy told him. The week at the river farm passed quickly. Elizabeth, James, and Kathleen had learned a lot about horses. They learned how to ride a horse, what a horse could and could not eat, how to care for a horse, especially after the horse had taken such good care of them on their rides. "I really loved being here, Mommy," Kathleen said the night before they had to leave. "I really loved learning about horses and riding. I've never had so much fun in my whole life." "Oh, Kathleen," her mother said, hugging her tightly. "Nothing makes me happier than seeing you happy. I loved it here too." Well, that's tonight's story. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed writing it for you. I can't wait to find out what the Halloways are going to do next week. Don't forget to share my stories so other children can hear them. Thanks for coming out tonight. Mwah. Have a great night.